First of all, help a bunch of people, because you never know who's going to talk to who, give testimonials to who in the process. That happens continuously.
There's a lot of ways to do it. What's the easiest thing you can do today? And I'm thinking about this for myself. What's the easiest thing I can do today to create something that I can send out with multiple testimonials?
I haven't worked with a lot of people in this and that, but starting point, we're talking about, because everybody had to, so a journey for 1,000 steps starts with the first step. You're not, I had to start with the first step. So the first step is what Daniel said, is collect a couple of testimonials. And on average, all you need is about 3 to 5.
The more social proof you have, the more credible you get with everybody new too. Coaches Nation, welcome to another episode of the Coach's Journey podcast. I'm Daniel Fernandez, and joining me in just a moment will be my co-host, Faisal Ensan. And today we're going to talk about something that maybe doesn't seem often important, but it's very important, which is testimonials for coaches. And we're going to talk about some ways that you can generate testimonials, and some of the ways that you can integrate that into your process. And so in just a moment, Faisal will be joining us. He got delayed at the beginning of this call, but I'll talk about a little bit for me, and for you, like, think about what gets you to buy something from someone else. And there's data on this that people are way more likely to buy something when somebody recommends it to them rather than they just see it. Now, if you have a really strong need and you see something that you need, yeah, you're going to investigate it. But when you make that purchasing decision, everybody knows when you go to Amazon, you're looking at the reviews. You're saying, what have other people said about this product? And if there's a lot of great testimonials or positive reviews, you're going to have a lot more confidence. And you're probably not selling your coaching on Amazon, but if you are selling coaching, you're probably going to have an opportunity to use testimonials to help people make the buying decision, and also to create testimonials through your coaching process. So I want to talk about, like, where do you use testimonials in your process before we talk about how you can get them created. So when you have had a great discovery call with someone, we always recommend you have your discovery call, and then after that, you can have your offer call. You can do them together, but we often recommend doing them separately. You have your 90-minute, 2-hour discovery call and do an amazing job of that. And maybe they have some takeaway actions. And then between that and the next call that you've booked, preferably you book it while you're on that discovery call, to do the offer and to talk through how you could work together. There's a great gap there for you to but provide testimonials to the potential client, right? So they've had an experience of you, and they know that you're going to have a call to talk about what it looks like to work together. And then they see from you a testimonial from maybe a client just like them, or maybe a client similar to them, or maybe a client who just had a great experience. Maybe they see more than one testimonial. Maybe they see your page of testimonials. Whatever it is, that is a great time for them to see, hey, other people have done this program, had a great experience, and it's going to help me. And I can see myself in those people. So it's awesome. It's awesome to send that before they get to the offer call. It's not required, of course. You can use testimonials at any time in your process, depending how you design it. But that's what we recommend. Is number one, do your discovery call, then send your testimonials to them before you do your offer call. Now, some people do their offer call during your discovery calls. So for some people, it's the same call. So it's okay to share your testimonial with them after that, or even maybe share some testimonial with them during the call. And there's different forms of it, right? It can be written, it can be audio, it can be video, it can be an interview format. There's a lot of ways to do a testimonial, right? And ideally, for testimonials, you have many different types of testimonials, but even if you're just getting started, getting a testimonial is really powerful, not just for your clients, your potential clients, but for you yourself, because testimonials serve a lot of functions, right? They serve the function of giving your clients something that elevates the coaching in their own mind as they make their buying decision, that helps them get confidence in the decision they're about to make, right? So that they can make the decision a little more easily for themselves, or to actually see results from others so they can have more faith. And overcome some of their objections potentially. What if this doesn't work? Oh, well, it's worked for these people. But the other piece of the reason that testimonials are really powerful is that you, as a coach, you can watch them yourself. So if you're not watching your own testimonials, you might want to, because I found every time I watch a testimonial, and this is a great way to start your day, and start your outreach to people. If you're doing, outreach to people who are in your pipeline, or follow-ups, when you watch your testimonials, you're like, oh yeah, I'm a good coach. I make a difference. I'm just like not having a great day today, but it shouldn't matter as much if you have that energy about you because you're connected to the things that you're doing for people in their lives, right? So I like the idea of watching testimonials, and honestly, if I'm like more open with myself, I could do a better job of watching my own testimonials, of actually putting them up together in one place, where I can share them better. Right now, I can share them individually, but I'd love to share multiple at a time. So as you build up your business, you can build up your testimonial process. And there's lots of ways to generate testimonials. Let's talk about, I have a document that I have a list of questions, and there's a few questions on that document where I can get clients who've had a great experience to get a little support in writing a testimonial or videotaping a testimonial, because sometimes clients, like, they want to give you a testimonial, but they don't know how to do it, or it takes them a long time. And so I've had people who tend to want to do the testimonial, but then they don't actually do it because it's not top of their list. And then one time I found out, like, oh, like, well, the reason I didn't do it yet is like I want to do it, but I just don't know what would be a good testimonial. I'm like, oh, so need to make some guidelines. So did a little bit of research, figured out, like, okay, well, if you got these few questions answered, that could make for a great testimonial. And so now I send that to clients, and they may still not do it. The other way you can do it is do it in the session. At the end of the session, you can ask them, hey, could we record a testimonial? That's another way to do it. A really good way is just to like have them meet you on a call. Say, hey, we could record together. These are ways to overcome potential clients that may not have done the testimonial yet. But the most important part of this process, I think, is to get your testimonials from your clients is to ask. You must ask for your testimonial. So Faisal will be here shortly. I just messaged him. And so are you asking your clients, the people that you serve, for testimony? You're obviously not going to ask your prospects because you haven't served them yet, if you haven't served them. But when you have like an amazing discovery session, when you get to the end, you can talk about next steps. You can also ask them, hey, did you have a great experience today? Or you can say, like, what did you love about our session? Or like, why was this valuable to you? Or was it valuable to you? And if they don't really think it's valuable, you may not actually get a need to ask them for a testimonial, but you can get feedback. So at the end of every session, you're either getting really valuable feedback, if you ask for it, or if the session feedback was really positive, and you made a huge difference, you can get a testimonial. Other things you can get are referrals, follow-up calls to talk about collaboration, or you can make an offer and get a coaching client. Like, every discovery session you do should end in either a testimonial, a referral, a client, or a connection, or some feedback, or another call, or a clear, like, thank you, no. And maybe there's a connection you can make with them outside of the coaching process. Not everybody should become a client. So like at the end of your discovery sessions is a great place to actually do your testimonial. So like, how many sessions in your discovery do you ask for testimonials on a regular basis in your discovery sessions? And here comes Faisal. Hey, welcome Faisal to the call. I've been ad-libbing it on my own here with testimonials, and I'm excited to like hear your take on this.
Once you understand how important it is to have testimonials, then you start to generate ways to create more. And the reason why I started creating more and more testimonials, case studies of all kinds, I saw the impact of it. So for example, in my business, well over 90% to this day, well over, after 10 years of doing this, well over 90% of my clients are, I'd say at this 95%, either referrals or renewals. Referrals or renewals. About 5% I'm pushing on the marketing side, newer customers, but even that leads towards referrals and new people coming into the picture. But a lot of it is referrals, which I can explain afterwards. And the reason for that is, and one of the pieces in the whole sales process is when you're connecting with people, whether it's before or within the process, which means that you're in conversation with a potential client or you're taking them through that process. As soon as you connect with somebody, people's tendency is to go find out more about you. As soon as they start thinking about getting support with anybody, they will go search you up. They will go to your website. They'll go to your social media. They will talk to people that they know who have worked with you in some way. And the closer that relationship is, for example, if a client of mine I've worked with, they've had a lot of success, and they talk to a friend, they will talk to them, be like, hey, maybe you should talk to this person. He's been able to help me a lot. That person will do a bunch of inquiry. They'll ask them, okay, why do you think that'll help me? This and that and the other. They will talk about it. He or she will move forward, and maybe they will book a call. That's a very strong, because that the person closest to them saying is, this has helped me a lot. That's a testimonial. You might not think of it as a testimony, but they're giving a testimony of your experience with them. Even though it's not written anywhere, but that person is going out there and promoting you. So testimonials are not always recorded. And yes, there are official forms of it that are recorded, but a lot of times it comes from the people that you've served and supported.
You're talking about
And so,
testimonials. Like there's another dimension of testimonials. The ones that I was talking about first were the ones that clients give us, but you're talking about
yeah,
testimonials that they receive from other people.
that's even better, because you're not even in the picture. You don't know who's talking about who. So I'll share a story of, I got this, I think it ended up being $150,000 contract over the course of a year. And the reason why that happened was I went to an event, I connected with a bunch of people, I supported a couple of them, I did a bunch of sessions with them. I didn't charge anybody. The next year, I made some friends. They were all like, oh, are you coming this year to Europe, this and that? I'm like, I can't make it. I have to do a bunch of other stuff. And I find out all this stuff afterwards. In that event that they went to, that I was not there, they were that group that I had supported, a bunch of individuals, a bunch of people. They had been talking to a bunch of people about me, and they started reaching out to me. And out of them, a couple of people followed me. One of them specifically followed me for a while, but close to 3 months to 6 months. She saw what I do. She saw what I do on social media, how I talk about things. She jumped on my workshops. And finally, she got on a call with me and she talked to me. And I didn't know what she needed. I served her, supported her. Finally, we realized that her and her husband needed help building their business. And then we moved forward in that direction. Out of that, I got another big client. So again, the accumulation of that was $150,000. I didn't even know there was a testimonial going on, but people were in the background talking because I had helped a bunch of people. That's it.
Did you ask them to find that out?
Who?
Did you say like, hey, how did you find how like why did you decide to
Yeah,
work with me? Yeah,
that's
did they
how I know
told
the
you?
whole story. Is like, oh, you weren't there at that event, but every person in that group I talked to, like, this person helped me with this. He had created this. I was like, I wasn't even there. I was 10,000 miles away. I didn't know what was going. But it was the impact that was left over that gave me a testimonial. Now the same thing happens in a sales process. It's a little bit less personal. So first of all, help a bunch of people, because you never know who's going to talk to who, give testimonials to who in the process. That happens continuously,
Always be
constantly.
serving, always be coaching, right?
Always be serving. And there's
Hey,
I think it's
ABC, always be coaching.
yeah,
ABC.
and there's
Yeah.
another quote that I love that stuck. I think it might be Jim Rohn who said, "When you've helped enough people, you will get what you want." Another version of that, you can, I think it was Byron Katie, or a version of that is, if you can have whatever you want if you're willing to get 1,000 no's for it. So it all points to the process of help. All points to long-term effort. All points to service without too much expectation in the process. But let's say you're a coach, you're sitting there, I want to help people, I want to connect with a bunch of people. Now, you might try to reach out to people in your network, you know, a bunch of people there, you reach out to them, they connect with you, you tell them I can help you, take them through your strategy call, discovery call, you serve them well. Now, there are a couple of there are a couple of factors that helps people make decision. If they didn't come from a referral source, let's say they were just part of your network, they didn't know that you do coaching or you have this as a business, they will go through the thing, they will feel the impact of your coaching. They will see that it helped them or not. Either you're helping them to a deeper level, you're solving a problem for them, and they're thinking if they invest with you, it's going to support them to move forward in whatever direction that they need. Now, one of the biggest tipping over factors is a testimonial or a few testimonials and case studies of actual people saying that you have helped them.
This is the one that's the first dimension that I mentioned, which is like the recordings that you got from clients saying like, man, this coach really helped me with this, or and I really recommend working with them. So like in that moment of the buying decision where you can give people more faith, this is what you're talking about.
Yeah. So when they hear another person that, oh, this has helped me, and especially if they can relate to that person's story, and that's the key. This is why we need a variation of testimonials. One of the things that I do, I have all my testimonials on one landing page, and I'll talk about different variations of it. And when I send it to clients, I ask them this, like, hey, go through some of them and see whose story you connect with. I literally tell them that, like, maybe you will connect with somebody's story that feels very similar to what how you're trying to grow. And when they get on the next call with me, where there's an offer call, I ask them, like, did you go through the testimonial? Sometimes they don't, but let's say they have. Like, which one did you go through? This one. Did anything stand out for you? It's like, oh, you know what? What Monica shared really hit me. They will say very something and like, what did she share? And I'll ask them. It's like, oh, this thing she's going through, I think I'm going through something very similar. So that the selling point didn't come from me. The final tipping point of the decision came from Monica.
And you didn't say, hey, go look at Monica's. You said, just take a look.
I didn't.
Yeah, and you know what's something you bring up is really important is if you have a bunch of testimonials, and by the way, like I don't have a page with all these testimonials. I have a bunch of testimonials, but I haven't gotten my process to the point where I'm using that page that way strategically. But if you send someone to that page, um, and they see so many people, that's the first like momentum that they have towards like having faith in your ability to help them. But then you don't direct their attention; they self-filter and they tell you and they find the thing that resonates with them. And then they tell you, now you understand their motivations and what they need help with, right? You understand where they're coming from and you can speak a better language with them so that you can reach them,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. And the second piece of that as well is that every coach is unique in one sense, that you will tend to attract people that are very similar to you. They have very similar values at the core level. They have very similar thought processes. It's just that they don't know how to navigate some of those things themselves. And you might be a few steps ahead of them, and you have a process that you can take them through so they can think better, they can process their emotions better, they can strategize better, they can navigate their world better. And you tend to if you put yourself out on honestly and authentically, you will attract those kinds of people. So when they're going through a bunch, let's say 3 to 5 testimonials, they will see a pattern of that subconsciously in your clients as well. First they see it in you, but if they just see it in you, they're like, maybe it's shit, he might be the only one who can do this. But if they see the same growth in a bunch of other people, especially if you have at least 3 to 5 testimonials, they're like, oh, if they can do it, well, I can do it too. What's the difference between? But if it's just you, they're like, it might be a unique thing about them, because people tend to put other people on a pedestal. But if they see a bunch of other people who are on the same, especially if they shared their struggle, I was struggling with this thing, but I overcome it because I went through this process. They're like, okay, great, this is my solution. Ultimately, in business, the reason people will sign up with you is because they're looking for a solution. They don't care what how much you're educated you are. They don't care what your process is. They don't care what you would do with them or not. What they care about is, can you help them solve that problem? If they see that process in another client and they can feel it, and if they see that that's honest, and they can research it in the background too, and they see that you're credible, that's a decision point. And the significant, I can't overstate the significance of it. When I realized that, and one of my business coaches made me realize that my testimonials were all over the place on my website. Like, and he literally sat me, I was sitting down on a Zoom call like this, like, I know you have lots of things going on, but the most high leverage activity is put all of them together in one page and make it a part of your sales process. When I did that, conversions went up. When I did that, testimonials went up. When I did that, referrals went up. All of it. It's
You
just
know, and
one simple activity.
that's exactly what's one of my next steps actually, Faisal, because I've been, I don't have much of a social media presence. Like I am like I from a public presence point of view, like I am pretty thin. And
Mhm.
even my testimonials, I'm just sharing it with the clients individually. And
Mhm.
there's definitely a leverage point there for me in my business to put up that page with a bunch of testimonials on it, right? Even if it's just a handful at first, because assembling
Yeah.
them, I've got a bunch, but and just keep them coming. And one of the things I was just talking about before you jumped on was how to get more testimonials quickly. And
Yeah.
one of the suggestions that I was talking about that's working for me is during the discovery session, get a commitment from them to share testimonials. They had a great experience, right? If they
Yeah.
really love the session and love the impact, then they'll agree to do testimonial at that point, and follow up because they said they would, right? And it might
Yeah.
take a few follow-ups to get that. It might take a few, reminders, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
that's one way to do it. Are there any other ways, or would you give it any color for that? What method?
Yeah, so there are categories of testimonials. So at this point, I have so many different. I'm aware of different categories when people need to hear about what points. For example, that testimonial you gave me when we did a discovery call, I love that testimonial because whenever I want to do a discovery call, that and a couple other clients I've asked specifically when they've just gone through a discovery process, I'll always share that when somebody's thinking about doing a session with me. So it gives them the reassurance and the trust that you'll be in good hands and this person got a lot out of that one session. That's for that one session you went through. And then if somebody's really thinking through this, I want to share like somebody has been with me for 6 months or 3 months, they've gotten a lot out of it. Then I have another category of testimonial where somebody has been with me for years because I've been doing it for years. I want to amplify those voices. Then I have another category. I want people to, because this is an online business, is like it's, especially in the world of AI, people are getting confused about what's real and what's not real. I found one of this really funny. So I was at Rich Litvin's virtual intensive, and one of the first things he did was he got his team to show him from every angle. I found that really funny because I think he suspects that he might just be. People might think that at this point he's an AI or something. He's like,
Ah,
he literally said,
you
I'm a
can
real
do a
person.
3D model. He could be a 3D model.
No, but the way he moved around, it's like look at my pants and there's like I'm a real person. He literally said that I'm a real person. I laughed when he said that.
You say I look at my pants? That's hilarious.
It's like usually I wear track pants of something, but today I dressed up. But the point, like we live in a world where where we have to tell people that this is a real thing. So then I have testimonials that I collected when I'm with people in person. So I have in-person testimonials. Again, in the beginning, you won't have all those categories. And actually, another category is I have an extended testimony. It's like a full podcast episode where I interviewed a client for anywhere from 30 minutes to 1 hour. Not everybody's going to go through that, but somebody might gain a lot from that story. It might be something of value. There are different categories of that, but what's your starting point? Of course, if you don't have a lot of clients, get testimonials the way Daniel's saying, get them to share a little bit about what they got from the discovery call. Then make that a part of your outreach process. Hey, look, I just did this session with this person. I'd love for you to watch. It's like maybe that's the kind of growth you're looking for, something to that effect. And then slowly start building out testimonials with people you've worked for a little bit where you've gotten them actual results and they've applied in their life and they've moved through it. And it will build up. And the key is that you want to keep building up different versions of testimonials to the point where I've recorded like WhatsApp messages, text, comments on my posts. I will take a screenshot. It actually goes on my testimonial page because they're all testimonials. Sometimes I've even taken like some of the things you would say or another collaborator or business partner because it shows what kind of person I am, how I deal with people. It's not just about how I serve, but people also want to know what kind of person are you? Are you going to let them be when they're struggling? Are you going to show up for them? Are you going to support them? Are you going to commit to things long term? A lot of people are scared of that. And to be honest, legitimately, because there are a lot of people who make promises they don't follow through. So they need to know that you've been there long enough and you have a long enough track record where you can serve them. Now, not everybody is there, but start collecting because that's one of your most important tasks is collect testimonials, case studies, screenshots, whatever you can, put them in one. It doesn't have to be a fancy landing page. It can be on a Google Doc. It can, like nowadays
It could
it's so
be in a
easy to.
Google Drive. You just take all your testimonial files, whether they're documents or videos or audios or screenshots of something,
Yeah.
or like a post style image, and just shove it in a Google Drive and send somebody the link and make it public, for view access.
The
That,
laziest way possible.
yeah, there could be one in there, to start. right?
Yeah.
You can send a direct link to a specific testimonial that way. Once they're in your Google Drive, now you have stuff you can send to people. Hey, take a look at these files, and they'll like, this is a Google Drive. Great, yeah. There's so many files in there, or there's 3 files in there. Whatever you
Yeah.
tell them, take a look and see which testimony you can name them, so that like, hey, this is Sarah, who like entrepreneur. What key headline if you want people to read them, or you just make them generically named with somebody's name, and then they'll have to explore it. That could be another way to do it. There's a lot of ways to do it. What's the easiest thing you can do today? And I'm thinking about this for myself. What's the easiest thing I can do today to create something that I can send out with multiple testimonials? I'm probably going to need to spend an hour just like making sure I have all the testimonials that I know about, from all the different places I have them in one place, and I've got a place that I keep them. But it's time to actually make that place more publicly shareable, right? And then the next step from there would be, maybe you have a page, you just embed them on that page instead. Maybe your name.com, if that's your business, /testimonials. Great. Maybe you integrate it like Faisal, you do this. This is where it'll go later eventually for me, which is on your checkout page. It's a great place to do it, right? Because that's where they're making the final confirmation of their decision, right? They will want to get that little, yeah, totally feeling at that point as well, right?
And as you're sharing this, I can almost hear an objection there. Like, I haven't worked with a lot of people and this and that, but starting point, we're talking about, because everybody had to, so a journey for 1,000 steps starts with the first step. You're not, I had to start with the first step. So the first step is what Daniel said, is collect a couple of testimonials. And on average, all you need is about 3 to 5. Most people are not going to go through all it has an effect when you have a lot of things, but again, work towards that as a goal. But
Yeah.
3 to 5 testimonials, they just need to know that you've worked with just a few people that you've been able to serve. And if you don't have any, you're like, well, I haven't worked with enough people. Your job is to go at least grab 3 people, serve them, support them. And what we call that in business is proof of concept. What you have is theory right now. You're claiming that you can help people, but people need to see, have you done this? And that's a very business. The world of business is a lot like the world of science. You need to prove the goddamn thing. You need to bring numbers. You need, if you watch those shows, what are they called? Dragon, whatever, where you go in front of
Shark Tank and Dragon's Den.
Shark Tank, whatever. Shark Tank, they go in front of these investors, and they bring up ideas. One of the first things that they ask them every time, they're like, well, how long have you sold this? What's attractive? What's the data? No matter how creative the idea looks like, they want to know if there's proof of concept in the market. Have you tested it? Because it's too risky. If you have not, nobody's gonna invest. An investor won't invest in your idea, and a person will not invest in your theory. You need to make it a practical thing that you have tested out in the world. You won't even buy something if you're conscious if this hasn't been tested without
Right,
other people. Even if it's free, you might look at the risks
totally true.
involved.
So if you don't have 3 to 5 testimonials, or you think that's a lot, just here's the number 3, right? It's 3 to 5. Okay, just make it 3. And if you don't have 3, just make it 2. And if you don't have 2, just make it 1. And if you don't have 1, every time you do discovery session, ask for a testimonial. And if you don't have any discovery sessions on the calendar, then get your discovery sessions on the calendar, and make sure you're coaching people. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
if you're doing it for free or not. What the testimonial is, I mean, if it's paid, if it's free, the testimonial is a testimonial about what you can do, how you can serve, who you are, and how you helped. That's really what it's about. So like, whatever level you're at today, what's the thing that's going to move this forward for you so that you can send somebody something, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure. And the key, and this is not a weird thing in the coaching world that we're telling you. Anybody, it doesn't matter what kind of product you create, you
All
need to create
businesses.
a proof of concept. And the way, for example, Alex Hermosi, a very successful business owner, he would say, like, let's say you're launching a new service or product. Um, in the beginning, go find some proof of concept. If you don't want to give it out for free, put a number on it. Let's say you're selling it for $2,000. You reach out to people, help them see what it is, and tell them, hey, I'm giving this for 90% discount. I'll only charge you this much. And tell them honestly, I need to build out proof of concept here. You can literally explain that. You can literally say that I'm testing this in the beta phases. I'm only taking on 3 clients, and I need to make sure that this works. By the way, some really good certifications do this. They tell you to go work with people for free just to get some experience in the process. and get them to work with you and create one agreement with them. At the end of this, all I ask you from you, all I expect is for you to give me an honest feedback about my process, and I can use that in the public. If you can do that with 3 people, that's your testimonial. Whether you charge them $50, $100, $200, I don't care if you're or you don't charge them at all. But that will be this. It will give you a sense of what it's like to work with you. You will understand where you need to improve. They will understand what it is, and at the least you get a testimonial. At the most you get some referrals. They might even work with you, continue with you moving forward, and you will understand where you need to grow. If you're not willing to do that, I don't think you should be in the business world, to be honest.
Yeah, great, awesome. What makes a good testimonial? Let's talk about that briefly before we wrap up.
I love that question.
Yeah, what makes the best testimonials? Like, I have a few questions that I use to that I want people to ask, but like off the top of your head, like if you were to tell people like, here's 3 sentences, instructions on make me an amazing testimonial. And by the way, the testimonial I made for you, which by the way, you did an amazing job coaching me. And I made a great testimonial for you because I wanted you to have a testimonial that was useful for your discovery sessions. And I said like, hey, I said like, hey, what would be the most valuable things for me to say in your testimonial? And you said like at the point of where they're thinking of having a discovery session or whatever you said to me. And I made that the testimonial. So like think about like what testimonial you would love to get related to the point in your business that is like the one you want to enhance, right? If it's getting people onto discovery calls, or is it, as you said before, getting people to make the buying decision, or is it getting people to renew? Like there's different types of categories of testimonials, but like pick a category and what makes a great testimonial. And maybe differentiate what makes it great between the categories.
I love that. I think more than that, maybe look at the purpose behind it. What will ultimately, the point of testimonials is, going back to what we said, is for the person to look at that and say, oh, I trust this person has helped another person like me, and that person has created results. That's really the purpose of it. So let's reverse engineer that. And my answer would have been 2 weeks ago, would have been a little bit different. That's the power of investing in yourself. I went to the intensive for Rich Living. There was one thing that really stood out for me on the testimonial side. He was talking to another coach, and Rich is really good at pulling things, challenging somebody without really seeming like he's doing that, but it's really happening. So he checks in with a few series of things before somebody says, I have a problem. So this coach got on a call. It was in a group call, and she's like, I can't seem to reach the right people. I want to work with these kind of leaders. And he's like, well, I'm assuming and I'm paraphrasing this, I'm assuming that you've worked with a bunch of people. She's like, yeah. He's like, well, can you tell me a little bit about the results that they've gotten? He's checking in this process. I know that he's like, he wants to know whether or not she's actually helped anybody. So then she starts talking about that. He's like, yeah, you know what? They felt amazing after this session. They felt transformed. It's like, that's great. What was some specific tangible results? And he clarified that. He said, whether they made more money, not like they made millions of dollars, but their income increased by this percentage, or they had a tangible effect on their relationship in this way, or had a tangible effect in the way that they did things. So some kind of tangible result that people can hold on to versus just an emotion. And he stressed on it. He said that the emotions are important because it helps people connect to it, but people need to see tangible results. And the more he pushed her, the less she's like, I don't, and she kept going back to the emotion. And so his challenge was that go back to the clients you've helped, ask them specifically what has been the effect of the coaching. And
I like
that
that.
really stood out for me, because the questions that I have, I changed my questionnaire, by the way. One of the questions that I added in there was, what has been the tangible effect that you can say that this changed my life in this way, and your life?
Oh, you do you use a questionnaire for like a Google form for the testimonial?
So I will send a series of questions. I can pull that up if we want. But by the way, if anybody's listening to this, you want a model for testimonial, reach out to us. We'll share that with you. I can share a PDF form where I just get everybody to just read through it as a guide to record a testimonial. We can share that with you.
And the way that you can do that is you just go to cmc.coach. That's Coaching Mastery Community. They sponsor the podcast, The Coach's Journey, that you're listening to. And it'll take you to our Facebook group right now, and you can just message us directly once you join the Facebook group. If you're a
Directly
coach,
message us and say, hey, can you share your testimonial model? But really, and I'm trying to boil it down to a formula rather than instructions. And the formula really is people need to know if they genuinely had an effect on them emotionally. Second piece is it created a tangible effect. That means they saved time, energy, money. They created more money. They created experiences that they were trying to create. They created a tangible difference in their behavior patterns. Those are the things that people look for. People need to say that. So they need to feel it authentically. They need to say it. And it needs to relate to, again, when you have three testimonials, you will see the variations of those shares. And it will come down to human themes. Why? Because, well, human beings have thought challenges, they have behavior challenges, they have relationship challenges, they have business challenges, financial challenges, goal challenges. If it hits some of those areas, or a wide range of those areas, it's like, oh, that's my challenge. If he got help in that area, I can get help. So that's specific. That, like, I would push the clients to share some of that. And the reason why I say that, then I thought about my testimonials. I'm like, I've worked with hundreds of clients. I don't have a lot of great testimonials. It's just that I'm playing the numbers game. I have quite a few of them, but if you really look at the number of people I work with, I don't have that many testimonials. You know, one of the reasons is, one, I haven't asked good questions on the testimonials. Second, people are not very good at communicating these things. I was fortunate when I did that session with you. You're a coach. When you asked me that, I'm like, he can do it on his own.
I was
But
like, I'm gonna make you the best testimonial you ever got because I know what
that
coaches
was
want.
really good. And I have a couple of other ones like that. Yours is the best
Can you
because you
write me a
understand
testimonial on my testimonial making skills?
that could work. He gave me the best testimonial. He's but really, most people are not very good at communicating results. I recently got a testimonial from one of the clients that I have. She, like, if people knew what she went through in the coaching process in 1 year, if she just shared the most important pieces of it, I can just put that up on an ad and get a bunch of clients. But it was hard for her to communicate her
Yes, I've
experience
had that experience
and
too.
what the
They make a
effect.
testimonial. I'm like, thank you for sending it, but that was terrible.
And I don't know, and it was really heartfelt, and I really felt it. I'm like, but
Yeah,
I can feel it because I know the context. But when
exactly.
somebody else is here and is like, this is vague, she feels
They,
it, but
they they won't understand. It won't make sense to anybody else. Yeah.
so that
There's a
was.
coaching opportunity in that too, as well, about communication, right? And how you connect with other people. And to me, like when I got that, I was like, we could work on some communication things here, I think. And that would be
Yeah,
very
and
able
that's a
to
skill set. And to be honest, most people are not really good communicators. Most people don't know how, and it requires another level of vulnerability, and people are
yeah.
nervous sharing. So you might have to refine that process, edit it a little bit. Now I'm thinking about sending it back to her, but there are some pieces that she said that really can be used. But really have some kind of guideline process. Ask them about authentically how they felt in the process. What did they feel afterwards? Ask them about the tangible results that came up with. How's their life different after the coaching process? They can just share some of those elements. That's your testimonial.
Yeah. So I like the couple things you said. Like, so one, you have a testimonial, like sort of like questions that they can generate written versions of it. And then I assume that after they fill it out, whenever you
No, or
send,
no. So let me clarify that. They can do that, but I would rather get the video version and I can turn it into a written. So what I do is I take the transcript, I turn them into small segments, I turn them into posts, I turn them into stories,
transcript
email
of the interview that you did with them,
of the
or transcript of the
testimonial.
video they sent.
Either one. So if I did a case study with them, I'll take the transcript, especially with the world of AI. The past couple year and a half or so, I've been taking that and I've been turning into bits and
Yeah.
pieces, posts. I've been turning it into partly stories and newsletters. I've been sharing it as stories. And I will, so it's easy to pull out text and stories and other things from a video narrative, but it's hard to go the other way around, because I can break them down into clips and use them in different places. So video, I would say video is the best part. Case study is the second best version of that, because I'm having a conversation. They see that we authentically went through the process. I can dig in a little bit. That requires a little bit of like back and forth. You need to have a relationship with the client to do that, but that can work. I always go for video if they can. Sometimes the people don't feel comfortable with video, then I'll send that and then I'll get them to write the text version. And if
You
they're
mean the
open,
questionnaire? You'll send them the questionnaire and then they'll write
yeah,
it. Yeah. So
they'll,
then
they'll write.
that I assume you have that set to send them the copy of their answers and you, so you can both see it, because then they see it again and they're like, oh yeah, look at those
Yeah,
things. then they
But again,
remember more clearly. But then
will
take
they
that and
do a
use it
video out of
to.
that?
My question was going to be, do you use it to guide them in creating a video too? Like, can you create a video about this? Because you've already answered all the questions, right?
I could ask that, but sometimes there are a couple of problems I've run into here. Some people don't like sharing specifics around what has happened. Like even some
Yeah.
of the best clients I have, they don't want to be on social media. They don't want to be. One specific client literally asked me to take it down because of problems with his corporate side, and some of the things were there. I can share it in some specific context, but not out completely open, especially on LinkedIn. So
Do
be
you
very
notify your
careful.
clients when you post their testimonial?
Not every time, but I asked them like, hey, I'm going to be sharing this. But usually clients will tell you where they're comfortable and where they're not. If they record it, generally speaking, they're comfortable for you to share it.
Yeah.
But many clients have just told me, it's like where they will ask me like, where will this be shared? I tell them everywhere. I can't tell you specific, but they'll be
Anywhere.
like, hey, I don't feel comfortable. Can I send you this? I'll just like, that's okay. You don't need to send me a
Yeah.
testimonial, but I'll ask those clients, can you share your story with the people around you? That's a different
Yeah.
kind of testimonial.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm happy to take it down, of course, but like, please continue to share. And I like the idea of actually telling a client, hey, I just posted your testimony on my site, because they're going to go there and see it and
I do
be
tag them
experiencing it,
sometimes,
right?
but I've revolved through it a few times. If I've tagged them a few times after that, I stopped. But especially the first time, I'll always tag a client. So
Yeah.
here's a
Okay.
good
Good.
trick,
Good.
good marketing trick. I'll put the video and I'll tag them on whatever social media. I'll say thank you for this. It means a lot. Something to that effect. They will usually put a text underneath like, hey, there's something. I have a client who wrote, is like, there's so much I wanted to share, but I didn't know how to share. But this has been transformational. And then I'll take a screenshot. I'll post it under that testimonial. It's like the best, that the confirmation that this person has added with his own
Good. Yeah.
social media
Well,
account.
the word I'm seeing here is like in our whole conversation is social proof.
Mm-hmm.
Social proof is like so valuable to coaches, I think.
It's everything, not just coaches, to any business owner. Social proof,
True.
that's your currency. By the way, it's not just in business. In your, how do you build relationships in your life? How do you meet people? How do you connect with other people? It's through social proof. You've connected with somebody, they trust you, they will connect you with a bunch of other people. You'll probably meet you, if you haven't met your wife or friends or colleagues and business partners. That's how you meet people, because you've established credibility with a set of people.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and the more social proof you have, the more credible you get with everybody new too. So
Yeah,
people will even
for
get
sure.
your, if you have them on your website, for example, people will get to see them even if you don't send it to them, right?
And,
So
and that's, by the way, if you boil down the world of social media, business, marketing, all that stuff, all people care about is, have you, do you care about the thing that you're doing? Are you showing up? Are you committed? Have you served a bunch of people? If they can see that journey, whether it's online or in person or through another person, they'll be very likely, as long as you have a clear offer, as long as you've served them well, they'll be very likely to go with you if they have a need. The rest becomes a numbers game. Have you reached out to enough people? Have you have you walked people through enough of your process? Then that's just the numbers game in the business world. Have you gotten enough no's? If you've gotten the 30, 40, 50 no's, I'm pretty sure you have a bunch of clients.
yeah, you have to or you've learned a lot, so you're about to,
Yeah.
And if you haven't gotten clients at 30 to 50 people, you should be listening to your calls. Listen to your calls, and you'll
Yeah.
get a lot of data. But that's a whole separate topic. And we have other podcasts as well on coaching development and other business building pieces of the puzzle. But are you adjusting your? Oh, can you do the thing where you hide your face and the camera refocuses on the statue? I want to see
All
the.
right. Are you ready? Whoever's on video,
Yeah, if you're
check this
watching
out.
this, check
Hopefully it
this out.
works.
That's so awesome.
So that's my assistant in the background. I'm not working or I go for bathroom breaks. It comes up.
That's all. Yeah, because we discovered that this morning, and I was like, "Oh, look, do that again." And it, like the AI camera will find whatever face it can find. You should actually put another face somewhere else and see which one it fights over. Um,
Well, it will be just between the two, like back and forth.
that's hilarious. Yeah. Okay. So, but we have so many other podcasts, whether it's on the coaching development you need or the coaching sales process. We have, our 90-day challenge, our weekly 90-day challenge for our pro members in CMC. is all about that coaching sales process that you take people through from when you connect with them all the way through to when they become your client, which is a journey. It's a journey. And part of that journey is the testimonials, which we talked about today. And I love that we covered like so much ground on testimonials, whether it's when to use testimonials, why to use testimonials, how to use testimonials, where to use testimonials, and what's the other W? Why, what, where, when, and
What
who,
are testimonials?
and who makes testimonials and who you send them to. Yeah, so we covered a lot of ground today. And actually, I'm taking some things that I know I need to work on. So
yeah, me too.
that's awesome.
I'm learning as I'm talking about it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks again, Faisal, for an awesome conversation. And we'll see you next time, everybody, on the Coach's Journey podcast. Go to cmc.coach and don't forget to comment wherever you're seeing this and share this with other people. If you know coaches, we'd love for the chance to support those coaches in their journey too as they build their business.
For sure. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.